Right now on Denver 7 News at 4, taking a stand for change.
Nobody should ever have to experience that, and I think it's taken our country far too long to realize that.
After fear and heartbreak at a Texas school, why local students say enough is enough.
A new shelter is reimagining how it can help people get back on their feet after leaving an abusive relationship, and how it's helping with everything from childcare to job training. And with the formula shortage, milk banks have been stepping in to help parents and caregivers, but now they're feeling a huge strain on staffing and resources.
Plus, molding a moment.
They just kind of hit me, hey, I can give back to them what I wish I would have had for myself.
The special bond between a nurse and family living through an incredible loss. Thanks so much for joining us at 4. I'm Jason Grenauer. New details tonight about the timeline of the initial police response in Texas. Officials admitting they made the wrong decision to wait nearly an hour to engage and kill the suspect. Authorities say the incident commander believed he was no longer dealing with an active shooter, but a barricaded subject, and that the children inside that Texas elementary school were no longer at risk. Officials saying today that the gunman got into the school from a door that was propped open by a teacher, then that he was never confronted by a school resource officer when entering the building. A 911 call was made, and 14 minutes later, 19 officers from various agencies made it outside the classroom door, where the suspect was barricaded behind a locked door. But they did not go in. They waited for a tactical team, which arrived about 30 minutes later. Governor Greg Abbott spoke this afternoon on the new information coming in.
There are people who deserve answers the most, and those are the families whose lives have been destroyed. They need answers that are accurate, and it is inexcusable that they may have suffered from any inaccurate information whatsoever.
Now, questions still surround those 911 calls from inside the classroom from those children. Dispatchers knew some were still alive in that classroom, but officers on scene apparently were not told. Now, meantime, a large group of Northfield High School students spent their first day of summer break demonstrating in front of the state capitol, calling for stricter gun control. This comes after the scare at Northfield High just yesterday when the campus went on lockdown following reports of a student with a gun on campus. Denver 7's Bayan Wang was there today and joins us live in the newsroom now. Bayan, some of those students still pretty shaken up, some of them very angry.
That's right, Jason. There was probably about 100 students or so demonstrating today, and there was certainly a lot of mixed emotions. Many students told me that Thursday's lockdown was just outright scarring. They said they thought there was an active shooter on campus. They described a very frantic situation, and some students messaged their parents with heartbreaking messages.
I just kept thinking, like, this is real. This is actually going to be the last day of my life. I am not going to make it out of here. And so I'm filled to the brim with terror. I text them like, this is hopefully a drill. I love you. I hope to see you when I get home.
I instantly texted my dad and said, hey, I love you, because I didn't know. And I texted all my friends like, hey, I love you. I'm like so appreciative of you, because I didn't know if that would be like the end of my life and that would be the last thing I'd be saying.
Just absolutely heartbreaking, guys. Coming up at 5, we'll have more on what some students will be doing this summer in an effort to get the attention of lawmakers. Jason.
Our Bayan Wang in the newsroom. Thank you. Now, in response to this week's events, Hamilton Middle School is banning backpacks on campus until the end of the school year. In a letter sent to parents, lunches must be stored in lockers at all times. Only water will be allowed in class. No other DPS schools are enforcing this rule as of right now. A Fort Collins woman is helping the families of Uvalde. Bonnie Fear works with Lutheran Church Charities. The group brought memorial crosses to the town square. Each cross has a name on it and a marker so people can leave a message.
It could be for them to help express their grief, and in the end, it ends up with the family. Our hope is that the family can then get that heart and read the heartfelt messages for their loved one.
Lutheran Church Charities also brought comfort dogs from Texas and Oklahoma to help the community.
The National Rifle Association's annual convention is going on in Houston as scheduled, just 3 days after a school shooting that left 19 kids and 2 teachers dead. But some Texas state lawmakers, as well as scheduled performers, have pulled out of the event following the shooting, at least one saying it would be disrespectful to go on stage. Former President Trump is among those speaking to the crowd. Texas Governor Greg Abbott is in Uvalde instead, but will address the NRA via video. President Joe Biden and the First Lady will be in Uvalde on Sunday. They plan to meet with victims' families as well as religious and community leaders. The president says he hopes to bring some comfort to those who are grieving. Russian forces are destroying Ukraine's hospitals and health facilities as part of their brutal invasion. A report today says there have been 240 attacks on Ukrainian health care in the last 3 months. That's 3 attacks every day. At least 75 people died as a result. Global watchdogs are pleading with the Russian military to respect and protect medics and hospitals. Well, the current monkeypox outbreak is containable. That's according to a report out today by the World Health Organization. There are almost 200 cases in 20 countries, including the U.S. Global officials believe they know where this outbreak started, and they're working to identify everyone who has been infected so they can stop the chain of transmission.
It's the moment that families wait for to watch their child cross the stage at graduation. But a Westminster family was told their student can't. Damon Oswalt uses a wheelchair. Today he graduated from Destinations Career Academy of Colorado. The ceremony was at the School of Mines, but in a room that is not ADA compliant.
He said, "I'm in a wheelchair," and she said, "Can't you walk up the stairs?"
And I said, "No, I live in a wheelchair." And she asked me if I could at least get up the stairs. And I said I can barely even move outside of my wheelchair.
To find out that he can't participate like any other student in his graduation ceremony, was hurtful.
Now, we heard from the family and we reached out to the school. It says in part it was working closely with students who need accommodations to ensure they can participate in today's ceremony. We'll have an update on the Oswalt family coming up on Denver 7 News at 5. What started with one veteran has grown into something much, much bigger. How a series of marches, relays, and rallies is helping to remember veterans across the country and supporting those still here.